Okay, we will get started. So to begin, go ahead and just sit with your legs in sort of a Z sit. So you can be more in 90-90 if that's comfortable. And if you have a wall near you or something at the back of a couch, the side of your bed that you can push your back foot up against, go for it. And just a reminder that this class is 30 minutes. So your one foot is going to be in front, perpendicular to you, and then the other is going to be reaching back. Again, if you have a wall near you, just press your back foot gently against it. And then take the hand of the front foot and put it on the floor for me. That's my right. And then my left hand, the hand of the back foot, is going to come right into my hip crease and sort of gently press and massage for a second just on my hip flexor or back into your glute or around your hip, outer hip, to help relax a little bit if it's nice and tight. My glute is completely off the floor. That is totally fine. Hopefully we'll find a little bit more space for it to lower down in a second. So hand in your hip flexor crease, and then you're just going to think about lifting up with your pelvis, rotating your left hip forward. Your right leg should be completely on the ground. And then you're just going to think about tipping that pelvis forward as you rotate up and around and find like a little bit of a spiral and length through your spine. Your left hip is completely open. You can give your left glute a little squeeze if you want. And then think about just leading with your sitting bone on that left side. So think like it's just connecting back to the floor. Walk your hands in if you need. And then press forward, tip your pelvis, and rotate. And then back down. Some rain sounds. And then press forward. It's a very gray day here. And then twist. And back down again. Think about leading with that sitting bone. 2 more. And just notice as you're starting to open up that left hip, how it feels. Maybe your left glute is getting a little bit closer to the ground. Using that back leg to press last time back to give you a little bit of leverage as you tilt your pelvis forward, and then send it back down. And then from here, bring both of your hands back behind you, and then just windshield wipe your legs from one side to the other. And then switch to the other side. So now my right foot is coming back, gently is going to press against the wall, right foot or left foot rather in front, hand to the crease of the hip. And then again, just for a second, if you need to massage that to let it try and release a little bit, go for it. And then from here, press down into that left hand, tilt your pelvis forward as you twist and rotate, opening through the right hip. And then a little twist through the upper body. And then think about magnetizing that right sitting bone back to the floor. And then again, lift up and twist. Rotate rather than twist, actually. And then back down. 4 more. Just go at your own pace here. If you want to go a little faster, cool, a little slower. In addition to rain, we also have the sweet sounds of a toddler. And up. And back down. Last time, twist or lift that pelvis, reach and rotate yourself around, and then bring those hands back behind you. And again, windshield wiper from one side to the other. And then pause with your legs in the center. So now you have 2 options. You can either just lay down with your feet on the floor, planted, knees bent up towards the ceiling, or if you have a wall, a bed, a couch, a chair, anything next to you, go ahead and lay down on the ground and then bring your feet up on the wall. Bring your arms out to the side to start. Actually, I'm going to move over so that this picture doesn't fall on me. All right, so feet are up the wall. You can have your butt as close to the wall or your chair, couch, whatever you're using as you'd like. And then just bring your arms out to the side. Just take a second to notice how your ribs feel, how your pelvis feels. Are you really tucked under? Are you in more of a neutral pelvis? If you're super tucked under, then I would recommend moving a little bit farther away from the wall. And then from here, think about reaching your fingertips long. If you're super tight across your chest, literally even this thought may give you a stretch through the arms or through your hands. And then from here, you're going to keep the whole back of your hand and as much of your arm on the ground as you can as you reach up overhead, keeping those back ribs down on the floor. And then from here, you're going to bend your elbows wide to the side, coming down into a cactus positioning with your arms until your elbows are in line with your shoulders. And then you're going to open your arms wide out to the side again. And then again, sweep your arms up overhead. You may be cleaning your floors while you do this. And then bend the elbows wide to the side as you come into this cactus pose. And then extend your arms back out to the side. One more time like this, reaching them up overhead. Back ribs stay heavy. And then bend your elbows wide to the side and pull down. From here, from this cactus pose, hands on the ground, you're going to reach your fingertips up overhead. Only so far overhead that your back ribs stay on the floor. And then you're going to straighten your arms and sweep your arms down just to that T position. And then bend them into that cactus pose, reach up overhead, and then sweep out to the side. And then one more time, bending them here, and press up overhead, and then extend all the way. From here, bend your arms into that cactus pose again, and you're gonna pick your arms up off the floor and come with your arms bent 90 degrees, bring them right in line with your shoulders. And then from here, you're gonna touch back behind you towards the floor. If you touch the floor, great. If you don't, no worries. Elbows straight up towards the ceiling, and then bring your arms back until your elbows are over your shoulders. So reaching overhead, and then back up. Nice and small movement here, keeping your ribs heavy. Your legs should be completely relaxed and supported by the wall or your feet on the ground, whichever you're choosing to do. Two more. Last one. Good. This time, pause with your fingertips down towards the floor and then extend your arms up overhead. And if your hands don't reach the floor the whole way, that is totally fine. Just my fingertips are reaching, my palms are facing in towards one another. Bend your elbows back up towards the ceiling, keeping your fingertips on the floor and coming in as close to your head and shoulders as you can with your fingertips staying down. And then back up and open out. As soon as your fingertips lose the contact with the floor, that's the end of your range of motion. You've gone too far. And then back in. Think about breathing wide across your back, expanding your ribs out to the side. Back into the floor, keeping those elbows pointing up towards the ceiling as you bend. This will be the last one. And then come all the way back in. And then bring your arms all the way down by your sides. And then from here, you're going to plant your feet on the wall. They can be hip distance or all the way together, whatever is more comfortable for you. And then you're just going to bring your right leg in towards your chest and tap it back to the floor. Or to the wall, rather. And if you're on the floor, you're doing the same thing. But the nice thing about using a wall or chair or couch for this is that you can really feel the weight of your thigh going in towards your chest and how your sitting bone reaches long and back to the wall. And your hip flexor is completely taken out of this. Your abdominals are helping bring that leg in and then resist as it goes back to the wall. 2 more times with this right leg. Last one. Good, and then bring the leg almost to the wall, but not quite. And then keeping the knee and foot in line, you're gonna let it come out to the right side. Check in with your left side. Keep that left hip heavy, and then resist to bring it back to the center. Then open it out to the side. And resist to bring it back in. And if you'd like, you can move into the goalpost arms here to keep really thinking about that open chest. And again, knee and foot are moving at the same rate out to the side. 2 more. That left leg is staying nice and stable. Last one. And then bring that foot back to the wall. And switching towards the left side, bringing that knee in towards your chest. Feel your sitting bone roll away from you. Feel that femur roll in your hip socket. 4 more. That right leg is heavy on the wall. And if you prefer, you can always extend it long. 2. Last one. And then leave your foot about 2 to 3 inches from the wall, and then move your left leg out to the side. Knee and foot moving at the same rate, and then resist as you bring it back in. This right leg is not falling out to the side. Your right hip is heavy. That inner thigh is engaged slightly. 5 or 6 more. And if you do one and you close your eyes, do you think your foot is leading, or is your knee leading, or are you moving all together? And then open your eyes and check. 2 more. Last one. Good. And then lower your leg all the way down, and then walk your feet back up the wall, having them nice and straight. And then you're going to flex your toes and think about reaching, or flex your feet rather, not just your toes. Flexing at that ankle, reaching the heels up towards the ceiling. And then you're going to pull your right leg in and then lower it back down, staying on that right leg. You can have a soft bend in that knee. You don't want it hyperextended, but you're engaging through that quad, lengthening through the back of the leg to bring that leg in toward your chest, without really changing anything through the back. 2 more. And last one. And lower that leg down. Release it. Give your feet a little wiggle for a second. And then again, find that engagement through the back of, or stretch through both hamstrings. Really flexing at the ankles and then pulling that left leg in and back down. And thinking that that same motion, the weight of your leg down into your hips, to your pelvis, is enabling you to take that hip flexor, like intensity out of it. Not that your hip flexor is not working here, but that quad is working, length through the back of the leg. 2 more. And last one. And then walk your feet back down until they're parallel to the floor. And again, your knees can be hip distance or all together. I'm going to stick with all together because I don't have that much room for my feet. So heels and knees more or less at the same line. Tuck the tailbone under, and you're going to roll yourself up into a little bridge here. And then peel yourself all the way back down. If you want to go up a little bit higher, push yourself away a little so you're more at a 90-degree angle with the hips as well and the knees. And then peel yourself all the way up. Think about reaching your knees. And then, because you're potentially not on your mat and you're on the floor, feel the heels drag down towards the floor so that you don't shoot away from the wall, which I did not do, and so I went flying. All right, perfect. There, dragging those heels down towards the floor, tucking the tail under, and then slowly peel yourself all the way back down. Again, hands can be by your sides or in that goalpost position, peeling yourself up, really reaching your knees over your toes. And then pause here, find your nice neutral pelvis. You're just gonna lift and back down. Think that as your hips go up, your heels reach down for 4, 3, gauging through the backs of those legs, 2, and last one. And then bring both knees in towards your chest and gently rock back and forth from one side to the other. And then you're going to roll over onto your side. Come back to your mat if you'd floated away. And you're going to come down onto your forearm with your knees stacked one on top of the other. And your hips are stacked also one on top of the other, pointed forward. If you need for your hip more padding, fold your mat in half or grab like a blanket or a mat, towel rather. Feet are together. You're going to open up through the top leg, finding that external rotation through the hip, and then resist as you come back down. 4 more just like this, opening up. Check in with that left side. Make sure that your shoulder is not up by your ear. Press your whole left arm down into the floor and feel it drag in underneath you. Nice and supported through your left side. And open. And resist. One more time. Hips stay pointed forward. And then pause here. Internally rotate that thigh. Your foot may lift and then back down. And then find that internal rotation. You can quite literally find that internal rotation. 3. Press the floor away. 2. Last one. As your foot comes back down, your knee opens up. External rotation. Internal rotation. And open. And internal. And internal. 2 more. Last one. Lift the whole leg up into one long line and extend it long. Bringing your hand towards your hip flexor area, the crease of your hip. You're going to point your toes and your knee facing forward, and you're going to hinge at your hip. Bring that leg forward, just like we were doing on the wall. And then if you'd like, point your toe, point your foot, and then sweep it back until you find that extension. If you prefer to do this with a shorter lever, you're going to keep your knee bent. You're going to bring your knee in towards your chest, and then you're going to open up through the hip. Think about reaching back through your back leg. If you have a wall to press against and you want to do that, go for it. And if you want a long leg, go for it. Sweep it back. The hips stay nice and still. They're still pointing forward like you have 2 little headlights reaching that way. And forward. We're only going to do 2 more. And then pause with your leg long. Bring your right hand behind your head. Press the floor away. You're going to rotate, keeping this right leg long and on the floor. You're going to rotate down towards your forearm. And then you're going to open up towards the ceiling, pressing and reaching out of that left shoulder. And one more time back down towards the floor, and then we're going to add the leg. And open up. And then pause here in the center. Float this right leg up. Sweep it forward as you open your chest up towards the ceiling. And then point and sweep it back, keeping your leg long as you rotate down towards the floor. 3 more. Flex and open up towards the ceiling. Knee and toes point forward. And sweep it back. Find a nice stretch. If you want to reach your arm long here, go for it. And then bring it back in. We have 2 more. 1 more, actually. Add that arm as you twist and rotate. And then back forward as you open. And then find yourself in the center. And then from here, send your right leg back, your left leg forward. We've already been in this position once today. And from here, you're going to plant your left hand down, reach your right arm long, and then lift your hips as you side bend up and over to the left. And then send your hips back down. Try to get a little closer towards the floor with that right leg, or right glute rather. Press forward. Really think about opening up through this right side, stretching through the left or right side of your body, and then back down. 1 more time. Lift and stretch. And then come all the way down, grabbing onto your right shin with your right hand. Bring your left arm up overhead. And bring it back down. 2 more. Over to that right side. And back up. Last one. And then sweep your legs around to the other side. So coming down onto that forearm, knees are stacked, hips are stacked, everything is, well, not your toes, but your knees and hips are pointed forward, pressing your right forearm down into the floor. Feel that shoulder blade gently glide away from your right ear, and then feel that arm pull underneath you. So you're nice and supported through the lats, through this whole right side. Opening that top leg up towards the ceiling in external rotation, and then resist to bring it back down. And then open up. And resist. And open. And resist. 2 more. Last one. And then from here, find that internal rotation. That foot will lift. And then back down and find that internal rotation. Remember, it's from the top of the thigh, from that femur in the hip socket. And just notice if you get different range of mobility that's like pretty drastic from one side to the other. One more time, then we're going to add them all together. And then open. And internally rotate. And then externally rotate. And internal. Check in with that shoulder. And external. 2 more. And last one. Good. And now lift your whole leg in line with the floor. You can either bring that knee into your chest from here and then reach back, find that opening through the front of the hip with the bent leg, or you're going to extend your leg long. Flex the ankle as you bring the foot forward, and then point and sweep it back as you bring it back. The knee and toes stay facing forward. You're in a nice neutral leg here, and the foot and leg stay more or less the same height as you go forward and back. That left hand can either be on your hip or on the floor for a little extra support. Your torso is not rotating yet. We will get there. 2 more. Trying to not let this right leg lift off the floor. So your other option for that hand is on your right thigh. Last one, sweep it back. Lower it down on the ground. Let your leg relax for a second, and then bring your left hand behind your head. Rotate towards the floor. Think about pressing the floor away as you rotate, and then lift up, reaching out of that shoulder as you open towards the ceiling, and then back down, rotate towards the floor. Hips are not rotating, just your torso. One more time, and we'll add the leg. Good. This time, as you rotate down, you're going to sweep that leg back behind you. And then sweep it forward as you open up towards the ceiling. And then sweep it back as you rotate down. And again, if you want to add that arm, pull it back in. Flex. We're going to do 2 or 3 more. Again, hips are not rotating, just the upper torso. Last one. And open up towards the ceiling, and then bend both knees, and then come into your little Z-sit positioning. Right hand is on the floor. We're going to add the 2 side bends together this time. So you're going to reach your left arm out as you push that left leg and hip forward and get a nice stretch. And then come back down towards the floor, grab onto the left shin with the left arm, and side bend up and over towards the left. And then drop that hand down and lift. And down. And up. And down. One more time, lifting up. Really reach forward with that hip and down. and then come onto your stomach. Laying all the way down. Make a nice pillow for your forehead with your hands and give your hips a shake here. Think about gently relaxing through the upper body, through the hips, through the glutes and the quads. You don't want anything gripping here. And then think about lengthening your tailbone. So reaching your pubic bone gently into the floor to get some length through the low back. This may slightly engage the glutes. And then you're going to lengthen your right leg long and then lengthen your left leg long. They're still on the floor. And then you're going to flex the foot on the right leg. Bring your leg to a 90-degree angle. Now your quad and hamstring are engaged, and you're going to do the same thing on this left foot. Hips are nice and pressed into the ground along with your pubic bone. You're in a nice neutral pelvis. You're going to press your right foot up towards the ceiling, gently lifting your thigh off the ground. Or maybe just relieving that pressure. And then switch and lift the left leg up. And switch. Staying bent at that 90-degree angle, or more or less 90. Once more to each side, lifting the right, lifting the left. And then you're going to bring your heels together, and your toes are going to go apart slightly. Then from here, you're just going to press your heels in towards each other and release. Press them in towards one another, not trying to lift up off the floor yet. And press them in and release. And in and release. One more time. In and release. Now you're going to squeeze them together and lift gently off the floor and back down. And again, off the floor may mean just relieving some of the connection or pressure between the thighs and the mat. You don't need to lift them all the way. 2. And last one. And then extend the legs all the way long. Give the hips a little shake. Give the legs a little shake. And then find that gentle engagement of the glutes, lengthening through the pelvis. From here, you're going to slide your shoulder blades gently in towards your spine, and then you're going to pick your head, neck, and shoulders up off of the floor. Hands can stay where they are, or you can bring them onto the floor and find more of a Sphinx pose, which is my preference. And then you're going to lift through the head, lengthen through the front of the chest. Keep reaching that tailbone away. And lower yourself halfway down. Feel your shoulder blades slide in and drop your head. Your arms stay where they are. Feel a gentle pull back through the arms as you feel your shoulder blades slide a little farther down and broaden across your back, and then lengthen your spine and look forward. One more time, lowering all the way down, letting your head almost hang, and then press your arms into the floor. Feel the gentle pull back through the elbows as you uncurl your spine and look forward, and then press up. Take a second here. Look to the right, over your right shoulder, and then over your left shoulder. Maybe you're getting a nice stretch through the torso, through the ribs. One more time, looking to the right, and center, and left, and center, and lower all the way down. Give your hips one more quick shake, and then press your hands into the floor, and then you're going to push yourself up and come back into a nice child's pose. Reaching your hands forward, relaxing your head down, and then internally rotate your arms, and then externally rotate your arms. Internally rotate. Feel your traps almost be crunchy, and then externally rotate. Feel that width really across that mid-back. If you're wearing a sports bra, kind of against the whole back portion. And then again, internally rotate, and externally rotate. 2 more. And external, finding that width, and then pause with that externally rotated arm. Press the hands into the floor. Feel that broadening across your back. Continue, and then press into your hands and your shins and come up into all 4. Knees are right underneath your hips. Tuck your tailbone under, and then press your spine, which is nice and broad, up towards the ceiling, and let your head drop. Send your hips back towards your heels, And then lengthen through the spine to find like a neutral spine, and then come forward. Tuck the tailbone under, round through your spine, keeping it nice and broad. Shift your weight back towards your heels. Uncurl your spine, find a nice neutral position, or here if it feels good, even a little bit of extension. And then find that neutral, come back one more time to all fours. Round through the spine as you lift up. Then lower all the way back. This time bring your knees wide, reach your hands forward, and then walk over to the right for a nice side stretch on that left side. Again, thinking about that external rotation through the arms, even if they're not super active, just to keep that width across your back. And then over to the right side, externally rotating. Feeling how that changes your stretch. And then come back to the center and walk yourself up to sit on your heels, and reach your arms wide out to the side, and then flip your palms up towards the ceiling, and then flip them back down towards the floor. One more time, up towards the ceiling, down towards the floor, up towards the ceiling, and then lift them all the way up overhead. Externally rotate and press down. Think about growing tall like you're a corkscrew, and let your arms find their side, their place by your side, and you are all finished. Thank you.